Poducer.
Brother, thank you. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for doing that sick little SP404 set. I don't know where that's going to go, if it's going to be now or later in the episode, but you will see it. That was dope.
Absolutely. That was, as I told you, that was my first time doing a live set with the actual SP, like in front of people. So that was cool. It was a good experience. And, I'll always remember this as the first time I ever did a live set with an SP. So
making memories.
Yeah.
Here on the pod. I love how your SP also has the donuts on it, like the Dilla donut.
But it's
right?
like kind of the Simpsons movie donut vibe. You know what I mean?
It is, yeah. I see that. Yeah. It's got the crossover. But it also definitely has like an homage,
no, it's
right?
Dilla. I definitely didn't get it because of the Simpsons. It just happened to work out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious. So yeah, man, if you can just introduce yourself for our listeners.
Yeah. So producer wise, I go by Going Somewhere. It's going_somewhere, and somewhere is spelled with a U instead of an O. And my actual name is Lucas. So I haven't been going by that name for a long time, Going Somewhere, but it's very recent. And ever since I kind of got immersed into the Chicago beat scene, that's kind of what I've been going by, and I'm kind of growing into it. So yeah, that's me.
So I noticed the way you spell it is sum with a U. Is that like a summation? Or is
it could be. It could be. I think hopefully I do get the opportunity to talk a bit about what that means today here.
We can talk about it right now.
So let's talk about it now.
Yeah.
So back.
Lady, sit your ass down.
Oh no, it's cool, dude. I don't mind. Oh, she's actually warming up to me, which is cool. Or she's biting me.
She was showing her ass
She
earlier.
wants to
she
play.
really wants you, dude.
So before I even had Going Somewhere, I was making beats in college, and there's this app. Like, I was addicted to my iPad, and there was this app. I got an Apple Pencil, and I was drawing and like shit. I was just experimenting with art. I'm not really an artist in that sense. Just really music. But I started making beats, and there was this app where you could make what's it called, where you can like draw pictures in a sequence, and it's like stop motion.
Flash?
Stop motion.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I would just experiment and draw like stick figure videos, but I made a beat, and I drew this sequence of this guy, kind of like going up this ladder, thinking he was really like doing something. He was heading to a destination, and then he'd get to the top, jump off, thinking it was taking him where he needed to be. And then when he gets to the bottom, he's like making music, trying to figure out ways to get to the top of this thing. But at the end of the day, he falls through this black hole, and he just ends up right back at the staircase that he started at.
Oh, so it's like a loop.
Yeah, it's a loop. It's like a feedback loop. It's kind of like about like the existential crisis of like life. Like, we're trying to all figure out what we're doing and like what the meaning of it is. Maybe some people don't care as much about meaning as I do, but I was just like, trying to figure it out. And it was kind of a play on like, I think a lot of people deal with the uncertainty of life by trying to go somewhere, by trying to go somewhere with something. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to pursue. I think it's wonderful. I think it's what makes life like worth living, to pursue things. But at the end of the day, you have to keep in mind that especially if you have like trauma or problems or something, and you're trying to run away from it by like reaching some higher up destination, I guess it's just like the philosophy of keeping that in mind, that are you going somewhere? That's kind of the question.
That is real, like just chasing the dream, because that's almost like a cover up. Okay, all right, go do your thing.
That's
Sorry.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Hold up.
You can just wait till it's your girlfriend.
I will remember what is needed to be said. Lady, get your ass out of here. You're done. You're exiled.
Nah, she was doing so good.
She was doing really good. It's okay. So what I was gonna ask though is, like, it's like almost like the podcast too. It's like the same thing. Like, I'm trying to go somewhere with it, but I have thought about that where it's like, why am I trying to grow this thing? Is it for power? Am I trying to establish a platform and be able to do things from that place? I mean, for me, it's actually about just having cool conversations with people, because I think that that's like how you figure shit out.
Yeah.
I learned at Oakton, talking about community college, is that dialectical conversation, meaning conversation between two people, is like the best way to get down to the bottom of things. But yeah, I see what you're saying where it's like keeping the meaning in mind is important, because otherwise it's like, dude, like a cancer cell is just going somewhere. It's not in a good direction for the host.
Right.
So yeah, that's interesting, man. Do you try to keep any kind of specific goal in mind when you're moving in a direction?
I try to stay conscious of my motivations, because I think obviously like music and like podcasts, it's just a reflection of ourselves in some way that we're trying to express ourselves, I think. And so I think I'm always wondering, like, am I expressing myself in this way because of a healthy desire or an unhealthy desire? Is it an unhealed action or a healed action? And yeah, so I guess I don't know. My head's all over the place about going somewhere because I've never actually taken the time to like explain it to somebody. So, what did you ask? I'm sorry.
Just like, yeah, no, I think what you were saying about a healthy action versus an unhealthy action. Am I trying to do this to get like attention because I'm craving it?
Yeah.
Kind of what you're saying, or like, I guess,
Doing
like
it-
what? Yeah,
Sorry,
nice.
like doing it for the right reasons, and what are
Basically.
those right reasons?
Yeah, what
for
would
you,
be what would be healthy versus unhealthy
like, for the love of it, right? Like, sorry.
No.
Yeah, no, Mace, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the love of like doing it for the because you love doing it,
Or
and-
is it for validation?
Or is it right?
Or do you, because like if you are in it for that, the pitfall of when you don't get it is that you're going to just keep going from one thing to another until you realize that the issue is with you.
Yeah.
And you need to like sit with that and figure out what the issue is.
Yeah.
So I think it's really going somewhere. It's like not, it's about what I said with the philosophy, but it's just like in a broad sense of that experience of like, make sure that while you're pursuing these things, you're not neglecting to pay attention to like what you need for yourself. Like, don't just distract yourself with addictions too.
That's such a real thing. I've been thinking about that lately, and it's just funny that you brought, and that's kind of like something you think about with your name,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, man, we could go deep. We could
could.
keep going deep. I mean, the only thing I'll say is like, yeah, just think about that as producers, as people, for the audience. But on a more fun, icebreakery
Yes.
note is I ask all of my guests, what was your first concert?
Oh, I saw you guys ask that to Care. First concert. Damn. Well, if you want to, I don't know if it really counts as a first, but my senior year at U of I went and did an open mic at this music venue on campus called Canopy Club, and wasn't really a lot of people in the audience, but like it was super, super, super nerve-wracking for me to get up and show people stuff.
What was it, for music, or was this like comedy?
No, it was for rapping.
Oh, for
actually.
rapping. Okay.
And that was kind of the first time I had really done a show in general. And then I ended up finding like kind of a music collective at that school, and they gave me opportunities to perform, and then I kind of got immersed into performing. But prior to that, I was pretty terrified. Like I needed to be pretty liquored up before going on a stage. So yeah,
That's real. I still feel like that sometimes, depending on the stage.
for sure.
Yeah. Well, so that was your first concert that you played, but like, would that be your first concert that you've seen? Or like,
Ooh.
that's kind of, I should have specified more so.
Oh, my first concert that I went to.
That
You weren't
went
saying
to.
that I did.
No, I like that we
Oh.
have that now, because that is what I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask more about that.
Okay, yeah, no. I hate that this is my answer, but I used to really like American Idol as a kid. Like I loved that shit.
Hell,
Back
I
when,
watched
like
it. I
Randy
watched it.
Jackson, Paula Abdul,
Sanjaya?
Sanjaya Malakar, that kid, I think that was his last name. I don't really remember, but he was on the season when Jordan Sparks won and she beat Blake Lewis, who was like the coolest cat that I'd ever seen. He was a beatboxer, but he also sang, and I thought he was just so cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I remember watching that, but I just remember the drama was that Sanjaya was like, okay, but he had a lot of support.
Yes,
And-
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I think that was his season. I might be wrong, but to answer your question, I used to go to like they would do live tours of like the top 10 or 12 people after those seasons were over, and I went like 8 years in a row to like see the American Idol contestants, and then kind of fell off of it. But I think my first concert, like one of the first ones, was going to see like Jordan Sparks and Blake Lewis and all those other guys like do their American Idol shit. It's really weird, but that was my first concert, I think.
Have you ever thought about doing like applying at, or not applying, but auditioning for American Idol?
No, and I hate to be like, I don't want to be like a downer, but I guess like over the years, as I started to become more of like a conscious person about how like people treat people, I didn't realize that they like make fun of a good amount of people on that show, and I'm like, damn, like that sucks. Like I used to think it was hilarious, and I guess to an extent it is, but like they are making a mockery of people that like probably need therapy for real. So like,
yeah, like people off the street that like need therapy. Yeah, for sure. And then also it's like it's really a singing show. It's not like America's Got Talent or whatever, like one of those shows where it's more show me what you got. So it's like if you're not a vocalist necessarily, it's like okay. Like I don't even think you can just do like the beatboxing thing you were talking about, like kind of the rapping, like shit, like that only works when it's a secondary thing to the singing on American Idol.
100%. You can't just go up there and spit a 16 and be like, I'm going to Hollywood. That doesn't work like that. I'm sure there's another show for that, or maybe or I was gonna say Wildin' Out, but that's not really an audition. That's just
yeah, Wildin' Out.
No,
great show still.
No, yeah,
nonetheless,
it's a goofy show.
Word. Okay, cool. So rapping, I feel like, you know, since we have the tracks.
Yeah, so I brought 3 for y'all today. So I think I told you before, like if anything gets played, I want it to be those 3 songs.
Okay, Mace, I didn't even tell you, but the
I think I found them.
Okay, thank you.
There's 2 folders in the file.
Mace knows. I didn't check. Are you gonna drag him into Ableton?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't check the volume.
Raps for podcasts.
Yeah, there's 3. There's Always Gone, Buttery Cocky Chickens, which is so fucking fun, and then Prada, which is, oh my God, I can't wait for that to come out. So just, I guess, as a quick intro before we listen to any of them, or are we just gonna, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, no, do an intro.
So the songs Always Gone and Buttery Cocky Chickens are songs that I dropped on SoundCloud within the past few months, and I like made videos for them and put them on my Instagram, and I had like really good reception, especially from Buttery Cocky Chickens. I'm sure the name is partially to help with that, but yeah, they're just songs that I kind of like. I think they speak to where I've gotten as a lyricist, because I think, you know, even before I made beats, I actually was a rapper, like writing shit as a high school kid about how much I hated my teachers and shit. So like, you know, the classic like just defiant child, whatever. But anyway, those songs are on SoundCloud, Always Gone and Buttery Cocky Chickens, and I hope to release them as part of a project at some point. But this last song on there, Prada, is actually a song I made like a year or 2 ago that was supposed to come out forever ago, but I ended up changing the beat and laying the song out on a new beat, which is actually a beat that I've performed at my sets recently because it's a new beat. So, and that is in essence, it's just kind of, I won't even explain what it's about. I think it'll speak for itself. But if you wanted to possibly play Always Gone first, that would be cool.
Look into my heart this time. Oh, girl, I don't believe that silly lie. It's gone, you see. Recycle your lemonade. If art's a medium, Simpson Bard is a renegade. I know I see a lot, be a lot for these minute maids. Issuing parking tickets, hard to fix it when dinner's made. Drop the wood when you finally feel it, you'll split as fate. I ain't building no houses with often killer waves. You got a wacky foundation, no longer seeking things that's gon' irritate my soul, no longer seeking pain. I can't stand it when people watching but don't support. I be people watching too often, something I can't ignore. Lately I've been working on how I view me outside the door of that Stanford Avenue house in Dallas where love was war. And now I see love as something stressful, don't need a lord. All I really needed was David Tammy, I'm feeling gorgeous. Maybe lovable, actually, I can see the floor, kid. What you running from, your stomach looks to be enormous. I can tell you horseshit. I go, girl, I'm done, always gone, you see. Oh, 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 girl, I'm done, gone, you see.
Dude,
That was sick, dude.
Thank you.
it's cool because I don't like, you're chopping up a sample.
Yeah.
You're making a new melody out of whatever's going on. And to hear you sing the chopped up melody is cool. I don't ever hear that.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I guess as I was saying, the American Idol, like I kind of like wanted to be a singer originally when I was really young. And so I think the singing is kind of like a part of me that is like more suppressed or repressed, something that I don't bring out as often, but I really liked that opportunity to do it on a track. So the fact that I use a lot of like 70s, 80s soul samples, I'm given that opportunity quite often because there's some beautiful vocalists like in that era of music. So yeah, thank you for complimenting, like mentioning that, because yeah, I kind of just like freestyled on that part, just like vibing with whatever they're saying.
Well, it's just interesting because like that's the whole part of like the production aspect where you're just like, all right, obviously this is a great tune already, like, let's flip it and make it into something else. But then to just like hear you sing the melody is just, I don't know, man, it was just cool. Like I don't hear people doing that. And also I feel like before I was like, like you couldn't try out for American Idol because you don't sing, but guess what? Like this man does. So
Thanks.
good on you, man. That's
Thank you.
cool. That's cool, man.
So yeah, and then I don't know if we're just going right into buttery cocky chickens, I'd really like to, because I think it's fun.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Let's run it.
I won't even explain it. This is just such a fun song. I'm gonna have to put this out soon, but yeah, just go ahead, run it.
You're all that is left. Finish it.
Be so right now.
It's like a Mario Sunshine type of beat.
It's funky, bro.
Hold on. I'm buttery like my diction. Addiction is never funny unless you're a pretty person who probably came for money. No time for this luggage. I'm claiming baggage. I'm running. My flight was canceled, but fuck it, I need to leave and I mustn't run into the opposite exit. The usher rushing me, telling me I should look out for shit that be right in front of me. I can see fine, you're fucking me, telling me that I'm ugly. Really, I'm dope as shit, and I know that's why you don't fuck with me. Listen, if you're still hating on me, it's cause you tripping. I used to see you a monster, and now I see cocky chicken. Paradox is a pigeon to get to know me. The distance was Rocky Balboa hitting a concrete till he didn't. Hey, my mama, she won't admit it, but looking back, her and daddy should probably be committed. I used to hate I was living, but now I notice the difference. If mama's Jordan never met daddy's Pippen, I wouldn't be different. Yeah, I wouldn't be different. Hated everybody around me till I knew what was in me. Now I live among the projections. It's like a mobile city, waking up in different locations, knowing I own the pity. I'm leaving in around. Be so right now. Hey, you gon' hold on. Oh, you wanna be? I'm leaving in around.
Wild sample chops here.
I was so blown away when I found this sample. It's just beautiful. I think this was actually supposed to have one of my buddies on it. So it's just like an instrumental at this point. You can cut it, Mace, honestly, yeah. But it's really just instrumental at this point. But yeah, I could just listen to this beat all day. I just think it's so smooth.
It's fun. I like want to walk down the street like happy as fuck, skating around or some shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, skate. You skate?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, not as much anymore because like falling is that much more painful. God, I sound old, but like I just honestly, I don't know, man. I just don't skate that much. I need to buy some trucks because I have a deck and I just like
Longboard or skateboard?
skateboard. Yeah. Do you skateboard or longboard?
I taught myself how to skateboard when COVID hit. I was living actually like a few blocks from here with some friends. And I taught myself like in these streets, like in the Best Buy parking lot you picked me up at.
Oh, yeah,
I taught
that's a good
myself
spot.
there during, it's a wonderful spot because that pavement's super smooth. And yeah. So yeah, I skate a little bit, but I don't do tricks because again, injury prone and also just old. So
Once you start jumping off that board, flinging it around. But yeah, no, like skateboarding is just, there's a lot of good music that I learned about through like skateboarding communities and like Skate the video game.
mid 90s. You see mid 90s? The
you know
Jonah
what?
Hill movie?
I haven't seen it actually. Is
you
it
seen
good?
it? What? Yeah, y'all should watch that sometime.
Is it about skateboarding? Or
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
Jonah Hill directed it, but it's like all actors, like kids who skate, like real skaters, pro skaters, and it's all about like Jonah Hill like wanting to fit in as a kid with like skaters and shit. I think it's just so sick. Such a good movie. Definitely worth your time.
damn.
It's the production company A24. They made it.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, I love
Everything
them.
they touch is
Oh.
gold.
So wait, is there
They're
like
the
a
best.
twist then at the end?
What?
Like most of their movies have like some crazy twists.
This isn't
and-
like a horror. No. It's real raw emotion. Like
What's
just
that called?
Mid 90s.
Mid-90s.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of it and have been recommended to watch it. There's just so many.
There's
goddamn
too many good
out there.
movies.
Yeah, seriously. I'm curious, like, you know, how did you get into sampling like these 70s and stuff like the stuff that you're chopping up? Like, how did you get into sampling? Because, you know, there's also the route of like doing MIDI and synthesizers and all that shit.
It's a really good question. I have to think about it for a minute. I think, well, I was telling you before we started this podcast today that I can't, on like 2015, 2016, I found this video on YouTube of Joey Badass and Kirk Knight in like their bedroom. They were kids, like kids. Like when Joey was probably not, 1999 probably hadn't even come out yet. Maybe it had. They were just like making a beat on a Machine Micro with some really chill sample. And again, that watching that video made me want to make beats. And when I went and bought it, I think the first thing I did was like, I actually had a record player at the time, and I wanted to, like, I think I saw a video of like Ninth. You know what I did? I'd watch Rhythm Roulette.
Dude, with the Ninth Wonder one is
Ninth Wonder.
so
So fucking
good,
good.
dude. Oh my god, he's
So
a G.
that's where I learned. I
Yeah.
watched Rhythm Roulette. All these guys chopping beats directly from the vinyl that they sampled, and I was like, I have to get in on this. This is crazy.
Yeah,
So I think I would like I'd go to the record store with like a crate, and I'd go to like the 75-cent section and leave with like 60 records.
really.
Yeah, and I haven't done that in a long time because my record player broke. So I just go off YouTube, kind of like bogus now. But
That's how I do it too.
I would love to save up and get like go to ABT and get, they have like $500 record players.
Is it
there.
ABT or apt?
I was actually thinking about that as I said
I still don't know.
It
It's
is
like
apt.
Is it apt?
I went to school with one of the kids.
Oh, it's
and
a-
their
that's the
last
last
name
name.
is Apt. Yeah.
all right. Well,
Just
for
apt?
Chicagoans, it's apt.
Damn.
ABT does kind of hit harder.
It hits way harder. It sounds like a corporate, like a wild corporation. Apt. It sounds like you spelled abs wrong or something.
Yeah, or like you're talking about an app.
Now they're like, we're
Said it
fun.
weird.
You know, we're approachable. We're not ABT. We're apt. Like, you know,
ABT sounds like a harder way to say the alphabet. Like you just skipped a T, you know?
You mean you skipped a C?
No, as in you just went to
Oh,
T.
you just fuck all the other letters, right?
For people who are not from the Chicagoland area, because I don't think that they have apt in other areas outside of here. It's just like a great electronics store.
You guys have been to what's the? There's probably a location out by y'all, but the
the
one I've gone to is like
flagship.
the Glenview one.
Oh, the
Yeah.
big fucking warehouse.
There's a good skate park over there too.
Is it really?
Right behind.
And then
there.
in Glenview, like the one that's right by the train tracks.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Wait,
there was a
wait,
skate
wait,
park.
wait,
It's
wait.
right
no,
off
no,
of
no.
294. It's like
Yeah.
294 and
Yep.
like Lake Cook or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
I might be thinking of a different one, but anyway.
It's kind of not far from Oakton. Des Plaines, like 5 minutes away, probably.
Yeah, no, that's the one.
That's
That's
the
the
one.
one. Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
Behind there.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
Damn, that's cool.
So you were thinking about going there, getting a nice record player.
I saw some like cherry red one. Oh, right. That's exactly what I thought.
Ooh, dude, cherry.
Yo, I'm about to
Cherry
pull this
red.
up. Hang on.
You please find it. It was so expensive, and I think they had cookies there that day,
Mace,
so I got sidetracked.
I don't even know if we're linked. Actually,
No,
now
we
that
are.
I think
I
about
did.
it.
I
Oh,
already
you
did.
got it.
Yeah,
Oh,
hang on.
you,
Let me pull this
Mace.
up.
Did you find it? I'm curious
Mace
to know
knows.
if they make it anymore.
Mace is part of a frat, and he knows.
Bro, don't you even. Hang on.
Cherry Red record player.
Yeah, wait.
That's sick. So, but to get
Is it
get
walnut?
back,
Is that sounding right?
What?
Hang on.
walnut?
Well, there's
Walnut
walnuts.
sounds
We're looking
See,
at.
but still, not even the cherry, but it's $599.
Yeah,
You got to come into
that's
some
clean looking.
comfort
Here,
before you
Jared.
buy that thing.
Yeah. Oof.
It's just nice, dude.
Yeah, I like how it's like minimal.
But cherry red, like it's like the vinyl, shiny black vinyl, but cherry. Just beautiful. Dude. Beautiful.
And
Not to
like
get caught up in aesthetics, but
no, but I mean, you got to get a good needle. You got to get like all the good cables and what I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to do it right.
But yeah, that is why I started. I think that's why I got into sampling, because I don't have any formal training in instruments. I don't know how to play any instruments. And I think I originally started trying to like come up with melodies, and it was really frustrating because I didn't know music theory. And so I would just put all my stuff away when I couldn't figure it out because I was just bothered. So I'd go back to it the next day, and then I realized that you could chop samples probably from just like Machine tutorials, because Machine has like a really nice community on YouTube for people to do tutorials. It's wild.
Thank you for bringing it back to Machine, because I think that you're probably one of the first, if not the first, producers on the show that's exclusively,
dude.
yeah, like using Machine. Because Machine is it a DAW?
It is a DAW though.
Oh, it
That's
is?
the misconception.
Oh, okay.
Because it comes with that hardware. You can use it by itself, but
Like it's got like
it
battery.
has it's
and all
soft.
the-
You know who uses it? Ninth Wonder in the Rhythm Roulette
Yeah.
uses
Oh, really?
Machine, the hardware and the software.
Wow.
So if you ever watch that again, but it's just it's kind of just like you start on something and you get used to it. There's no, it's like if
Yeah.
it's not broke, why? Like
Oh,
don't
yeah.
fix it. There's no reason to go. Although I will say I think it's got its limitations. And I definitely kind of envy people who like know their way around Fruity Loops or like Logic. Like those other ones are super useful. I don't know what you,
Yeah.
if you have, I'd love to hear like your thoughts on Ableton.
I think it's great. I think in some ways there is kind of this analysis paralysis where there's like so many ways to do something. It's like almost about the methodology of doing something. But I mean, so I started on Ableton, so I don't really have like any other like that's what I've been doing for a long time. So I think it's great. I think you can do a lot of things with it.
Yeah.
And they continue to build it out with like Max for Live, which is like the community can make plugins and, you know, VSTs and stuff for it, and they work integrated. And I think that's really cool. But honestly, what you were saying about how like there's the limitations of the Machine, it's like in a way that's kind of cool, because when you're pushing the thing to its limit, there's some magic there too.
I agree. You know who says that? Exactly what you just said. There's a guy on social media who goes by Impression. Probably, maybe you've seen his videos before, but it's IMPRESHN. He's one of the people that I've followed from the beginning, like since I got into beat making videos and stuff. And he uses Koala, which is on his iPad, to make all of his shit. And he said I think it was him or someone he knows, like someone was saying they love how there's like limitations to it. And so like it forces you to like really think outside of the box as far as what you can do. And I think kind of a little different from what you were saying, but yeah.
Yeah, but like how can I loop this thing? And that's like the Dilla, like where it's like, how can I loop this that it's something completely different? It has a completely different groove, and you wouldn't have known that was the sample. And it's just like, you know, it's a, you know, and you wouldn't get that way if you're like, oh, okay, I can do all of these other things with it. It's like, this is what we got. This is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Not only that, but it gives you like it forces you to like learn what you have to like the best of your ability, right? So like with Ableton, I compare it to like, you know, you've got endless amounts of like tweaking at your disposal, which is great, but I'm only going to learn maybe 10% of each item that's in there. I mean, I've got like 30, 40 audio effects, and then all the MIDI effects and all the different things you can make things interact with each other. When you're like limited to just your one piece of hardware, like I feel like once you master that, you can kind of be like, yo, I can like kind of get whatever I'm looking for out of this.
You saying like even a DAW? You're saying like a DAWless person?
Yeah, like with your machine, man. Like once you like study, even if there are limitations, you're like, oh man, it'd be so much easier if I could just warp this in Ableton real quick. But like, I mean, it forces you to get creative and find a way around it, and then I don't know, you can just kind of bust something out because you've mastered what you have available to you.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, you might come to a completely different place with it. I mean, they always say that thing where it's, you know, creativity like inside of a box, or I don't know what the expression is now, but like put yourself inside of a box, basically.
Yeah.
When it's boundless, it's hard to know what to do.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like
It's overwhelming a little bit, I think.
I do try to stay on the trends at the same time.
Speak more to, what do you mean?
Like, I forget what the technology's called, but you know, the rolly C boards where it's like you can like go up and down the keyboard and it accentuates the note. It's the same thing with the Ableton Push 3 where you can
No, I'm not familiar with
you
this.
can go in between notes and it glides between notes depending on where you're pushing it.
Wow.
It's kind of MIDI 2.0 type of deal. So when there is breakthroughs in technology, I think it's important to keep your eye on it.
Okay.
And to know what's out there. But you know, figure out whatever tools you like to use and just go with that.
I agree.
There's something about sampling, and this is something that I learned not too long ago, is that, you know, I was like, oh, I gotta like make all my chords and do all that stuff and use a bunch of VSTs. But sampling stuff is freeing in a whole different way, and it's so fun. Because it's like flipping a picture upside down, and then sometimes I'll add MIDI on top, like some synthesizers on top of it, and then it's at the end of the day, I'm always worried about, is this original? Does this feel like a new piece of work? And you can get that through flipping a sample.
I mean, look at Kanye, like those videos of him in the studio back in the day, like making College Dropout and all those other albums. Like he was flipping samples and then playing shit on it. I just think it's crazy what you can do. But I will ask you guys, I'm interested in your opinion because you brought this up. What is your opinion on, like, do you think samples should really like need to be cleared? Like, obviously that is the deal, but like, what do you think about, like, is it considered stealing, or is all music just regurgitated, like, in a way? Like, I don't know.
I don't think it's considered stealing I definitely don't think it's considered stealing. If you take the sample, you don't warp it or do anything to it, and then you just put like a beat over it. All right, like, not that creative.
Yeah.
But dude, people recycle stuff all the time. We've been doing that forever.
That's what I think.
And also, maybe it's because it would be different if I had a lot at stake, like a lot of money on the line because someone's stealing this and making a sample out of it, and it's not getting cleared through me, and I could have made like $100,000 or something. Now I got to litigate, but I just don't think that it's that big of a deal. I think it's cool, man. It's like counterculture. You're just ripping this shit and making it into something new. Like, that's cool.
I agree. What do you think?
You know, I think that pretty much what you guys were saying, like, good art comes from standing on the shoulders of giants, right? Where, I mean, at least for myself, I think starting with a sample is really cool because it can kind of take you in a direction and at least give you kind of like something to aim at, right? Or like kind of a backbone, and then you can kind of create off of that. Where, I mean, you were talking about Kanye, like you listen back to the original samples that he was using and you're like, holy shit, this is a completely different track. Like Otis, dude, the original sample on Watch the Throne, dude,
nothing,
so different. And like, I think when you get as creative as you can with that, it's something that's really, really special, and you almost do it more justice using it. But then again, I've heard some tech house tracks lately that are just pretty much copy pasting something, putting a new drum beat under it, and maybe doing a slight chop. And I'm like, that's pretty fucking lazy. But
if you can feel that it's lazy, or you know the sample and you know what they did to it, and you're like, okay, you didn't really do that much.
Yeah.
If it's not exciting to me, then I'm kind of like, eh.
This is different, but I'm laughing because I'm thinking about like those ads of like that dude doing the drip plugin and like just the type of shit. Like some of those people that are doing like there's running ads for like their beat production classes. It's like, or like they're showing off like a software, like a plugin. It's like these guys like literally just, he's like, copy paste this loop right here and just throw the 88 BPM on there and and it's over. And it's like he fucking did nothing. And he's like, I'm sick now.
yeah.
Dude, that's so funny. That's so I never even thought about it like that. I just always thought it was so dumb in the sense that it just didn't sound even the greatest in the first place. And also I watched Kenny Beats just like rip it apart one time.
Kenny's nuts.
Shout out Kenny. But yeah, that's so funny that it's like, my flex is that I barely did anything to make this happen. That's not that cool.
No, I mean, loops have their place in music production, I think. But like, if you're not touching a loop, I don't know about me, but like, I don't feel good about something I've made if it's a conglomeration of loops. Like if it's just
I feel the same way.
Just put a bunch of loops there. You're just good at finding patterns. That's it.
And it's like what they would say about what like pornography. Like I can't describe it, but I know it when I see it. That's like the gray area that you have with like sampling other people, where it's like, if I can tell you put in some effort into getting and into like making this into your own, like I don't want to say remix, but like you're kind of putting your own spin on it. Like I can't tell you what's different from yours versus what the guy next to you did, but you did something right and he was fucking lazy and just kind of like, yeah,
you can feel that. Wait, what was the pornography reference?
I can't describe it, but I'll know when I see it. That's literally, I think, how the government described pornography, as like when talking about it in
really
government context. Yes,
it's like a really interesting and like a reference analogy.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah,
dude. The quick tangent. My TikTok is fucked. Okay, like I don't know what's going on. I downloaded it literally just to post clips on the podcast, and it doesn't know anything about me. It's like untrained TikTok.
Oh, you mean like without them sensing something about you to give you a feed?
Exactly, because I haven't like scrolled or liked anything really. It's basically Jay Willie because I liked his page, who's one of our producer friends. It's literally always Jay Willie. And then the next video, dude, is like, I think it knows I'm a guy. Maybe I entered in information, but it's like, it's literally like indigenous tribes of like topless women doing like indigenous stuff. So it doesn't get taken down because I guess there's like some kind of
religious or
it's like they're just, you know, like this is gonna sound not like primitive, but it's like if a tribe is mostly naked or something and they live in wherever the fuck, you know, I guess you shouldn't censor that because that's just like how they are.
It's natural to them.
But dude, this shit is on my feed and I'm just like, is it because I watched it for like 3 seconds and was like, what is this? Dude, my TikTok is cursed.
I think about that all the time. I think about like even on Instagram, you look like one chick in a bikini and Instagram makes you look like the biggest pervert ever.
You're just like, dude, no, I gotta get out of here.
Like a dude, I was like, I wanted to see beats. I don't need to see like all these random chicks. Like
you gotta go on and then like be like not interested. Calm down. Algorithm, horny ass algorithm.
No, for real. I open my Instagram. I gotta like fucking tuck that shit before I like. It just looks bad. Like,
yeah. No, I get it.
I feel like the algorithm can just kind of place you in a box and then just be like, well, other guys his age liked this, so we're just gonna push it on him because we think he'll like it too. Like,
I mean, it's not like you don't like it. It's just you're just like, this is triggering right now. Yeah. I was trying to do something productive, and now I'm just not thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. Like their algorithm is it's the algorithm in general. That whole concept of an algorithm is really interesting to me.
Yeah,
it seems like it doesn't always work like the way that we wish it would. We're
in a weird trial and error period right now with the algorithms. Thank you for letting me talk about my cursed TikTok. I need to pee real bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man,
I should have peed before.
No,
I'll be right back. If you guys want to chat it up, I think we should also well, no, I have some thoughts.
Yeah, man.
What are we talking about here?
God, thank God you're back, Jerry. We didn't know what to do without you, dude.
What would you do without me? I wanted to just kind of go back to when did you get the SP? And I want to kind of talk about the SP and just like that in the beat maker community and its importance. It's just unanimous, you see it all the time.
So yeah, so during COVID was pretty recently new. I moved from Park Ridge area or Lincoln Park, I guess, because I was living in there in the summer before I went to school. I moved to U of I, and it was during the time of COVID where we were getting like, if you had a job, you were getting like that money every couple weeks from the government, like whatever, like what is it called? Why am I blanking?
Stimmy, bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was getting like 1,400 something every 2 weeks, and I was not working. So I was just like skating around. I was there's a hamburger place in Lincoln Park, something dog.
Clark Street Dog.
Doghouse.
Doghouse Beer Garden. That place is so good. Dude.
Oh, dude, that place is good. Yes.
Insane.
That place is good, bro.
I was like probably their number one customer for that summer.
Dude,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I went there yesterday. I went to this place called Fatso's Last Stand. You ever go there?
No.
Dude, I just love the name. Fatso's, you're like, yeah, I'm going to like eat a burger.
Food, right?
Yeah, it's just like.
That's like top 10 burgers in Chicago by like locals would say.
Fatso's?
It's a quick, like greasy burger, but it's up there. Yeah.
It's dirty.
I don't want to get lost on burgers because we can fucking go off on burgers. But, for like my birthday, my buddy and I went to like Al Cheval or whatever. Yeah. That place was sick.
Yeah.
So good.
I think that was the place we went to, unless it was a different place.
There's also a small Cheval.
I just went to that one 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just as good.
But yeah, they do the burger the same. Yeah, dude, so good. Oh my God.
Well, yeah. And so anyway, I was making a lot of money doing nothing. So I was just like enjoying spending it like an idiot, holding on to it, but not really holding on to it. So I like invested in a Fender Stratocaster, or I think that's what it's called. I got it was a cool color and an amp, and I was just like getting music equipment because I'd never had that type of money at my disposal, and I'm a kid. So anyway, I wanted to learn how to use an SP for a long time. And I think I went online with like some of that money, and I found a used one for like $300, and I bought it once I moved to Champaign. And that SP404 that I just did a live set with for y'all, that stayed untouched in the box for the past 2.5 years. And I opened it about 4 or 5 months ago and started learning how to use it. 4 or 5, it might have been 6 months ago, but yeah. I didn't open it because I was always kind of overwhelmed by I really want to learn this, but I really don't. It's just overwhelming, and I didn't really know what I was gonna do. But then I met Before Lasers at an Open Beats event, and I went and I saw how everyone was using these SPs, and I was like, "Damn, these things are sick!" And I started I'd get drunk at the bar, and I'd go up to all these music people. I'm like, tell me about your experience with the 404. I haven't opened it. And I was just saying it to everybody, trying to understand, I think I was just looking for some confidence to get it going. And everyone was like, dude, you just got to plug it in. You just got to do it. It's not that hard. It's just you don't even have to produce, just do. They gave, some people gave me some people to look up. There's a lot of really good people online who, do tutorials for the SP, and that's kind of how it went. So I've had the SP for about 3 years, and I've been using it for 6 months, essentially.
I feel like I get what you're saying though. There's kind of a culture behind it. It's you got to do it right if you're gonna do it almost.
Yeah,
but it's a cool piece of gear, and for lo-fi music or just beats. I think I called it a 405 earlier, by the way. I don't know if I did.
404, 403, 407 is fun.
There's also the new one. There's the new one's pretty cool.
What is it? The
MK2.
Yes, the MK2. 90% of people that I've seen in the beat community in Chicago use, maybe 90s high, 80% use that device. If you looked at a set where they all had to set up before, it's 8 MK2s, a machine, and then some guys DJ pioneer
little
DJ or like
turntable action. Yeah.
that's it. So it's beat makers, like it seems kind of like an essential. It's like you're a Jedi, like why don't you have a lightsaber, you know? It's like that seems to be the tool of choice for a lot of people.
It really, there's so much love for that little guy. But you know, I feel like we can talk a little bit about like the open beats, because that's actually where we met. And just like that idea in general, because other people do similar concepts, but we met at Dorian's.
Your set was right after mine.
Yes, my set. They were like, dude, you should download like Koala. You were talking about Koala before, which is kind of like a little sampler. It's kind of like an SP on your phone, right? Yeah. Not as much functionality, similar tools,
and it has some similar effects.
Yeah. So just to spice up the tracks you want to play, I literally played my tracks off SoundCloud, off Care's computer, and one of the tracks was an ad, like an ad started playing. I was like, whoa, hold on, that's not it. Like I had to like back it up, but it was cool. I
feel like I remember that.
But what I was trying to say is just these nights where producers can go out and just play a little set, share some beats. I think it's a cool concept, and I'm glad that we have a few of them in Chicago. There's open beats at Dorian's, right? There's Open Swim.
There is, well, I don't know what it's called, but Brookfield, the Vines and Vinyl store, they do one once a month.
Okay.
Then there's Miyagi Records, Southside. They do the Chopping Block, does an event once a month, just about, I think. So there's like 5 or 6 different groups or places that host events. And then the one you were telling me about that you did with Care Package this weekend.
Yeah, that was more of like they kind of did like a little DJ set action, but it was similar open format, play whatever you want. I have thought about doing like a straight up open beats thing at that venue, but we'll see.
That would be a good idea.
To be determined. But yeah, like how did you hear about some of these places? Like, cause I heard about it through Care. I wouldn't have known otherwise.
So it's a really good question, because as I told you, I found like a hip hop collective when I was in school at University of Illinois. Really helped me kind of get like my feet, like get the ground running with like putting myself out there on a stage. And that was kind of my first experience with like performing and like working in a collective in any capacity in general. So of course, when I found that collective, it was the coolest thing ever. And I got home and I was kind of detached from it because I wasn't there, and they do like these weekly meetings. So I kind of felt like, not like excluded, but it was like, it's like hard to feel a part of a group when you're not in the same area as the group. You know what I mean? So it's just like they're meeting, they're working, they're collaborating. They like, will ask you to get involved in some capacity, do a song with them, but it just wasn't the same. So I'm like, we live in Chicago. I live in Chicago. Like I live outside of Chicago, right outside. Like there's got to be something. So I actually went on Reddit and looked up like Chicago music beat scene, like just really obscure searches. And I ended up finding a few guys who like posted that all of these different accounts and all of these different people to follow. And I just sent DMs to like these random people who were like, yeah, you want to go to this event on this day. You want to follow this account. Most people's best advice was like, follow these accounts. And I did it. And one way or another, I think I heard about Open Beats and I went, and I saw this big dude by the door when I walked into Dorian's, and I thought he was a security guard. So I asked him how much cover was. And it was actually B4 Lasers, and he's like, I don't work here. I was like, oh, like, what are you here for? Are you here for the event? He's like, yeah, I pretty much like help run Duck World. And so then anyway, he helped me get like acclimated to the whole community. And ever since, I've just been kind of like meeting people when I go out to these events. It's a really nice, inclusive community. All the people are really cool. I think producers are better people than rappers I don't think that goes without, like, it's not too hard to think about, but I think producers are just like really nice people for the most part.
I feel like there's less words spoken. You know what I mean? Like rappers have that thing where it's like, what did you say on this track? And like, you got to stick to that almost.
Yeah.
Producers is just like, just sounds.
Yeah. I don't know. I've met, or what were we going to say?
No, man.
I was going to say, I mean, I don't know. I haven't been in the rap community at all, but from what I can tell from the outside, it's like probably a little bit more competitive than the beats, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like producers are always like trying to hold each other up and like push each other up to next levels. And with rap, it might, and again, I don't know, but it might just be a little bit more like, no, I'm trying to like one up. I'm trying to like, you know,
I think it's more
be
ego.
the best one. Yeah,
Because
could be.
it could be. I mean, if you think about it, I think we were talking about this earlier, but like kind of like the going somewhere thing. I don't want to apply going somewhere to everything, but like, because I'm not going to do that. But, you know, rappers, not that like a lot of people make like rap and write lyrics to heal from things or to express themselves. I'm not saying all rappers are like egotistical people. I'm just saying like not all producers have to get up and show their shit. They all will spend time in their room making it. So you really know that they are in it for something genuine. I think there are quite a bit of rappers out there who are not in it for a genuine reason. And it speaks through their artistry. That's why I think I don't think rappers are bad people. I just think it's easier to identify authenticity in producers.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like it's just like the format, you know, when you're talking, you know, versus a sound. Like you can hear a chord and it's, oh, that sounds sad. But if someone's telling you about a story that's legitimately sad, you're just, yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
You know, it's more explicit.
For sure.
So I feel like it's easier to judge, you know?
Yes.
I feel like that's part of it. But also, you probably have an interesting take because you both rap and produce.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. It's hard because I don't think I've never been immersed in like a Chicago rap community. I think I might enjoy it, but for some reason, I think there is like a thicker air of competition, like you were saying, that might not make every room feel as welcoming as an Open Beats or an Open Swim might feel. I think it's a little more cutthroat in that scene than producing is for some reason. That's just the vibe.
It's making me think of like 8 Mile. You know what I mean? That wasn't everyone go up and just do your little ditty. It was like you got to compete for the throne.
If you're not showing up, like we're not going to show you love.
You're getting
like,
booed,
yeah.
and like probably even your ass kicked in the trailer park or something. I don't know.
Imagine going to an Open Beats and everybody hates your beats, so they
Can you
kick your ass,
imagine?
dude.
Oh my god, dude! White claw to the face.
How do you
Just
even?
Fucking?
How does one even beat battle like that?
They
Just like
did.
throwing kick drums at each other. No, it's stupid.
It would never happen.
Just like wouldn't work. Yeah.
No.
I don't know. It is interesting though. So just to go back to the Open Beats thing for just a sec.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that you're, you know, like blossoming in that community. Whenever I see you at something, I'm like, damn, I wish I was there. That looked cool.
That's cool, bro.
There's a lot of love at those events.
Good people. I've, I think, yeah. I don't exactly. I know you wanted to get back to the topic of Open Beats, but I guess what I will say, I think, I don't know what you guys' personal experience has been like fitting in with people, or if you've like always known who your group of people was, or if you've struggled to find it along the way. But I definitely feel like me personally, I've kind of always felt like this pressure to fit in with certain crowds that are not really my people. And it's kind of, you leave those environments feeling shitty, or like you feel like you're trying to be something that you're not. I just feel like in the midst of these producers, these people in the Open Beats community, it's like I feel like I'm breathing a little easier around these guys. It's just like they feel like more like home to me than I've felt around a lot of people. I think musicians in general, I feel at home, but especially people that do something so specific, like in this niche of like production and of lo-fi shit. It's like a very obscure thing that we all do. I mean, it's not rare, but it's obscure in the sense that not everybody does it. I kind of contradicted myself, so just cut that out or don't.
No, I get what you're saying. There is like me and Mace have a crew of producers, and I don't even know what genre we would even bass music and like house
all
and
over
UK
the place,
Bass, is
man.
that
Techno
what's bass
and-
music? Like
I don't-
like jungle shit?
Yeah, I don't know.
Jungle's sick.
I feel like you like bass music could be like jungle, drum and bass, dubstep, like anything that just has like a heavy low end. Could be like a bass, experimental bass. But then again, like when I say that, it's not really representative because it's just kind of electronic music in general. But yeah, when I'm with them and like we go to these primary functions, it's just like all love, man. I don't feel like stressed out, like I have to be acting a certain way. And yeah, it's nice because you all know that you've dealt with the same struggles, trying to figure out how to make stuff and, you know, be genuine.
And it can be hard too when you're like surrounding yourself with those people, like you mentioned, that like, you know, maybe trying to like fit into a group that's not really for you, especially if they're at a different skill level than you.
Sure.
Right. So you're like kind of looking up to them in a way, and you're like, oh shit, like, you know, these guys are doing so much better than me. I got to try and mimic this or be like this. I mean, it adds all that pressure, and it takes away from like you actually finding out your sound and at a, you know, more meta level, like who you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I would also say that potentially that's a good way to learn, is like having like a mentor,
Yeah.
but you really got to
sure.
find the right person. So
Definitely.
yeah, I also just real quick wanted to talk about your videos on Instagram and whatnot, because I think that those are so engaging. And having your dog, it's like, you know, those dudes that play guitar for the dog, they play like nylon
Yes.
string guitar and the dog's just like sitting there like, this is
Yes.
nice. It's kind of the same thing, but with the SP, and you're just jamming and you're with your dog in the forest. And
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because it gave me the opportunity to shout out someone who's been like had a significant impact on my like growth just as a person. A couple people, there's this guy, his name is John Bennett. He goes by Kilroy on Instagram. He's just a phenomenal producer who lives in Alabama. And I came across him on Instagram because, well, of course, I just like beats. So he was like, the algorithm probably tossed him my way, or he followed somebody, or someone followed him. But he would host these like beat, he would make a drum kit. So he makes drum kits, and like they're fucking phenomenal. And I was looking for drum sounds, so I purchased one of his kits, and I think. I don't have to tell the origin story of that, but anyway, like I started getting his kits, and I would tag him in the posts, and he kind of started showing love, and he followed me. So like we kind of got connected that way, and he has like a really cool setup. Like he'll bring a tripod like you have here, and he'll set it up like in a park, and he'll be on a swing, and he'll have his SP, and he'll just make a fucking beat video. And I'd never seen somebody do that. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. And of course, at the time when I found him, my SP404 was still clean in that box that I hadn't taken it out of. So, but anyway, once I learned the SP, I kind of, I was like really starting to fuck with like how to get more engagement on Instagram. Cause you're right. Like people will listen to something more if you're sitting there doing something rather than just like a picture of an album cover. Like a lot of people won't listen to just that. More people will listen to something they can watch. Kind of like we were talking about with the podcast. Are you really doing
the clips? Yeah.
You need something to look at. It's just kind of the day and age we live in. And, yeah. So anyway, he pulls up and he puts his phone up there, and he's got a fisheye lens. And of course, so once I started using like the SP404 and I was using his drum kits, he would host these drum kit competitions where he's like, whoever makes the best beat wins. And he had a competition for this kit that he came out with called the Country Kit or the Voyager Kit. There were two different competitions. I think it was the Country Kit. And I got into making videos, and I'd never done it before, but I started having a blast. And it was like, as soon as I got home from work, I started making a beat, and it was just such an exciting process of like, holy shit, this is going to be sick. What do I do for the video? I even put a wig on for a couple of them, looking like Igor, just fucking around, just having a good time, thinking about like, you know, if I look like an idiot, like just look kind of funky with this wig, like people will definitely be like, who the fuck is this guy? And just press on it, and then it's good. Or naming a song Buttery Cocky Chickens. Like I've figured out there are ways that you can kind of get people, you know, more
keywords and whatnot.
Sure. Yeah. And so, long story short, I learned a lot from that whole thing with beat making videos from Kilroy and how he does things, because I just thought it was so cool the way that he formatted his videos. And so I've played around with like different angles and stuff, and like I'll go in the forest and like with Scotch tape, because I didn't have a tripod, and I'll like tape my phone to a tree and like make a beat on a log. Like it's just so fun. It takes it to a whole nother level. It's just like full creative freedom that you had as a child. It's just like you're able to it's like coloring on the walls, dude. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that it's more than just, oh, here, listen to this. You have a visual thing. I'm having fun. You can get, there's just more input or output.
Fun. Well, yeah, and I love film. I love movies. Like I'd love to be a part of like a production team for a film one day. Like I think that'd be so cool. And I love capturing things on film. I think film is one of the coolest things of like human creation. I think it's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, we replicated the eye, bro. Like, our better eyes, you know, like this camera sees better than I can.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, like just what we can capture in a like a cinematography way. It's just fucking
I remember
ridiculous.
I saw you at the last Open Beats and you're like, dude, I just love editing. I was like, dude, I fucking hate editing. Like, I like it in the creative thing, but when it comes down to it, it's like there's only so much time in the day. And I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but it's like editing for me whenever I make a clip that's not necessarily linear. Like, if I'm grabbing things from the podcast, it's like, I know I'll figure out a way to stitch this together, but it's a puzzle. Right now, it's like a problem. Like, I got to figure it out.
Yeah.
By the end of it, I figure it out.
Yeah, it can be daunting though, because there are those projects, I'm sure you both relate. There's so much you got to figure out, but the track is so good, but like you procrastinate because of the overwhelming amount of shit that you're going to have to do to actually get that song out there. And it's almost like more comfortable to like leave the track on there and never touch it, just because it's you know what I mean? Because
Yeah, you don't want to fuck it up either.
no, because if you fucking put it out there and it's like, fuck, I should have, you know, like you could have made it better. And it's like, it's almost like keeping it a fantasy and never letting it actually come into fruition. It's fucked. I think all of us do that to some extent.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, sometimes you just straight up find or don't have the file, like the project file. You're just like, I guess that's what it is, you know?
Dude,
It's
that's
never-
the worst.
Yeah, that happens. The
Losing
project files
projects,
corrupt or whatever.
Oh, dude, that's bogus. They need to patch that shit. These
Yeah.
companies that, I mean, like, I'm not trying to like start beef with like Machine or Native Instruments or something. Just
No, it
Back
sucks.
your shit up.
Yeah, back your shit up, baby.
yes, I still don't do that. I'm like, I'm not gonna do it, but like,
I say it a lot, but I'm like, I back up. I don't even want to talk about backing up because now I'm gonna like curse myself. Knock on wood.
yeah, no, I gotta fucking. It's crazy.
Anyway, yeah. So, like, do you have any, I don't know, video ideas that you really want to do, but you're like waiting to do for some special reason, or?
Not waiting. There are some that I would like to do, but that I guess maybe it's social anxiety or just self-consciousness that prevents me. Like, I would really, really love to set up a tripod on the Metro and do a fucking like beat set on the way downtown, or just make a live video. With the fuck, you got the city going by. Like, what could be cooler than that?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I would like
I
to-
guess the one fear would be like some dude like jacking your shit.
Well, I guess that is a fear. That wasn't even my. It's more of just like.
That's my fear.
Well, yeah, I guess I just like I'd be like, I don't know. I need to. It's just something I'm working on, but it's just like if there's like a bunch of people on the train and they're like, "Who's this guy making a beat video?" I don't know. That's just I need to. I kind of want to put myself in more public spaces. Like I'd love to fucking go to Lakeshore Drive, like on the concrete beach area, and make a beat video with the Drake in the background. Like how fucking sick would that be?
Yeah, and people going along the path.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be sick.
So those things, there's nothing I'm really waiting. It's more of like, but you know what? It's like I've started to exhaust my backyard and the forest reserve near my house. So like eventually I'm gonna have to start getting out and doing things more. And I just invested in a tripod and a couple other things. So like, yeah, that's I'm looking forward to like the cool videos I come up with, because I definitely think that within the next year there's going to be like a Metra video that happens, and I'm so excited for when that does.
I'm picturing right now. I think it's gonna look sick.
How fun would that be?
yeah.
Or just if you even did imagine a live set. You know what's crazy? This is a little different, but there's a whole beat scene in New York, as I'm sure you could imagine. They just have the fucking sickest artists in New York. But there's a guy that I've like learned about. There's this whole scene in New York, like they kind of, and you couldn't really get away with this on the CTA. But I think in New York, the way that they got exposure is they would go on the trains with like a giant speaker and just perform on the fucking train, and like people digged it.
Yeah.
And they would go with like a bunch of their friends and just get on the train, and they would bring SPs and they would do their shows, live sets on the train. Like I think shit like that is so sick, and I would love to, like I've thought about wanting to get the beat community together to have people do something at the beach. I think that would just be fucking awesome.
Dude, you should get connected with like Tango and I don't know who else. runs it besides Tango and maybe Motion, but they do Beats on the Beach. They have a thing.
They have a thing.
I bet you they would do I mean, I'm not gonna speak for you. Tango, I'll talk to. But like, I feel like they would love to have you, especially if you did like something different, like an SP set or whatever. That'd be cool.
Thank you, Tango. And you said it's called, what is it?
Beats on the Beach.
Beats on the Beach.
Yeah, I'll connect you guys. I don't know.
Please.
I don't think there's like a permit involved. I think it's just like you just go out there and do it. If it got shut down, it
would probably only get shut down if it was like rowdy and a lot of people had alcohol or something. I'm sure that they would shut it down, but
yeah, it was just like way too loud or something.
Yeah, but no, I think the beat community would really benefit from getting exposure to different parts of the city, even when we don't have an actual venue to perform at. Like, no one is telling you can't pull up on a corner and pull out your SP. I mean, other than shit getting jacked, I guess that is a
pull out your SP, like Game Boy SP.
Oh no.
All right, so this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to play that last rap track because I know that did we finish all of them?
Oh, we didn't play Prada. We got off on a tangent.
We got to play Prada.
We started talking about drinking podcasts. Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Prada.
So let's play Prada so we can finish out the rap stuff, and then we'll play a couple more beats and do some wrap up questions. I have some other questions to ask. Anything else to say about Prada? Because I know you gave it a little preamble in the start.
Yeah, I would actually like to say something about Prada. So, kind of fits with the theme of the going somewhere idea, but I noticed that when I started getting around like the music communities in Champaign, like the rap scene, I was really kind of like bummed and disinterested in a lot of stuff that rappers were talking about. I just thought it was all very surface level. I've always thought that about a lot of rap. It's just like a lot of people talk about shit that's not that deep, and I think
like material things.
Materialism. It's just stuff that's surface level that doesn't help anybody. And I'm not saying that stuff doesn't have its place. I think all art has its place. It belongs. I mean, unless you're like condoning killing people or something, then I would probably say like no. But if you're talking about like stuff that's happened that you've seen, I don't think all music has to help people. I'm just saying, like,
yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So what was I talking about? I lost my train of thought.
Prada.
Oh yeah, Prada. So basically, it was just kind of like my growing dissatisfaction with the state of rap in a lot of ways, and kind of how like I've been dealing with a lot of my own personal shit that's just like a lot deeper than you talking about 8 women in the back of a limo that you never rode in, that you never slept with. So like, I don't really care to listen to what you're talking about.
Or like the Lambo that you rented for the day that you're gonna pretend you own. Yeah,
come on. So
that does sound fun for a music video, though. Just renting a Lambo.
Of course, just looking rich for a day. Like, I don't know. I understand like different cultures, different backgrounds. People have different motivations to do things for different reasons. I'm not really knocking anybody, but I can't lie about the fact that I'm disinterested in a significant amount of rappers that I hear, because I think you're at a lower state of being. It seems like you're like your state of consciousness. You're like rapping about trivial things that don't matter.
Yeah, you're like getting caught up in the BS.
And so basically that's Prada. And I'm talking about what my experiences have been and kind of why I'm disinterested in surface level shit at this point. So that's what this is.
Word.
All right.
Let's run it.
Y'all just went to Gucci, Louis, Prada. I'm just trying to separate me from my father. Pardon me if when I heard your shit I never got up. Y'all just chilling on the surface, I'm analyzing my trauma. Prada, Prada, Prada. Y'all just went to Gucci, Louis, Prada. I'm just trying to separate me from my father. Pardon me if when I heard your shit I never got up. Y'all just chilling on the surface, I'm analyzing my trauma. Prada, Prada, Prada. Maybe the city's mad, maybe the kid is good, maybe I'm not my dad. Maybe you want the bag, maybe the titty's good, maybe you want the ass. I know I'm moving past, I know I'm doing good, I know I'm off the map. I know you do the dash, I know you got the goods, I know that you wear a mask.
Y'all just want the Gucci, Louis, Prada. I'm just trying to separate me from my father. Pardon me if when I heard your shit I never got up. Y'all just chilling on the surface, I'm analyzing my trauma. Prada, Prada, Prada. Y'all just want the Gucci, Louis, Prada. I'm just trying to separate me from my father. Pardon me if when I heard your shit I never got up. Y'all just chilling on the surface, I'm analyzing my trauma. Prada, Prada, Prada. Can I be salty? I'm in the ocean. I'm the only kid I knew who ripped his stomach open. What you know about a body dysmorphic distortion, or an anxious style of attachment to your abortion? Maybe nothing if I'm being honest. No surprise, I got nothing in common with these noodle ramens. I would probably be the same if I never acknowledged all the pain that was buried deeper. I'm living conscious. Look, y'all just want the Gucci, Louis, Prada. I'm just trying to separate me from my father. Pardon me if when I heard your shit I never got up. Y'all just chilling on the surface, I'm analyzing my trauma. Look, Prada, Prada, Prada. Y'all just want the Gucci, Louis, Prada. I'm just trying to separate me from my father. Pardon me if when I heard your shit I never got up. Y'all just chilling on the surface, I'm analyzing my trauma. Prada, Prada, Prada. Hey, bounce, bounce, bounce. Y'all don't wanna hear me out, out, out. All you wanna do is bounce, bounce, bounce. Y'all don't wanna hear me out,
Yeah.
Dude. Cool.
Dig that?
You had
Yeah.
something to say in that one, man. That was clear.
How did you become so introspective? You know what I mean? Like, you know, you were talking about like healing from your trauma, and I don't think that a lot of people really fully understand what doing that is and doing that work, because you see a lot of people walking around with trauma and they don't know how to address it. I'm talking about myself. I'm talking like everyone's got that, but at least I think you're trying to put in the work to deal with it.
It's a really good question, Jerry. So I think I've been in therapy for 8 years with the same dude.
Really?
Yes. And I was really happy to see that y'all talked about that Carrot brought up therapy for him and that significance in his episode, because I was hoping to get the chance to like bring it up at all today. 8 years of therapy with the same dude. Therapy is so important. I think even if you didn't have trauma growing up, like you didn't go through things, like it's just important, I think, because I think life is difficult and emotions are confusing sometimes. But I think 8 years of therapy and like, I guess without giving you the whole nine.
Go as deep as you want. Just
I want to like keep it, you know. So I think years back, I like got involved with people romantically and had all of these like intensely scary emotions come up, like abandonment fears, like, but you don't really know, you're not conscious, like, oh yeah, that's an abandonment fear. You are, 5, 6, 7, 8 years later. But like in the moment, it was so intensely terrifying, like new first relationships and stuff. And kind of like, what the untrained eye would say is that you acted crazy. And it was kind of like I dated people and just like had absolutely no ability to form a secure attachment to an individual. And I would kind of like think that people were trying to like abandon me in some way, and just like I didn't trust anybody, and I would kind of just act out my trauma in those ways. I would act out my anxieties because I had no idea that these things were like stuff coming from dynamics within me that I had internalized from the past. And so like making a lot of mistakes in relationships and feeling like the people on the other end of what I was doing were the issue, having to like continually go to therapy and talk about the frustration you were feeling about a partner, and then realizing after years that like you acted out in a relationship because you were afraid, because you couldn't trust, because you had abandonment issues, because like it's really hard, I think, with therapy and with trauma and with like people, because like kids aren't gonna like high school kids don't understand why someone does something. You kind of just get labeled as crazy by like a couple people that if you act out in a relationship. But then I think as people mature, they start to kind of like understand this stuff a bit more. But basically, long story short, I had bad relationships, like a few bad relationships with women where like I thought that they were doing things that weren't really happening. It was more of just like insane anxiety. So the therapeutic work is to dive into why you feel this way in the first place, because you don't come into the world in the first place like feeling like, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation.
I hear you.
But it's just like you learn attachment from those significant caregivers in your life, and if there's something off there, it's probably going to come up whether you're conscious of it or not. I mean, it's definitely going to. And I think we have this tendency, humans have this tendency to like this repetition compulsion where like you can end up getting drawn to like very similar people in adult relationships that remind you of your parents in like a very sick way. And so I think a lot of people are dating their parents in other guises. And I think I've just learned over the years that like, kind of like what I was talking about with trying to fit in with the wrong people. I've just spent years in therapy trying to kind of like unpack trauma from the past, understand why my parents were the way that they were, and like what unhealed things about them kind of translated to like me not learning how the world worked in the right way, or just like how their unhealed trauma got put onto me, and then how I started to go into relationships and just like project. I think projection is like one of the biggest issues that our generation has. I think we all project onto each other. Some projection isn't really bad, because like if you love yourself, you're going to project that love onto others. Kind of like Mick Jenkins talked. I don't want to sit here and quote Mick Jenkins, but he talks about that. And it's just like, I don't know. I think I'd say the biggest thing to answer your question is moderating projection, understanding where your projections and your desire to project comes from, and learning how to kind of master the art of knowing where you start or where you end and another person begins, knowing when something is about you and when it is about another person. Because I think as children, we can tend to take personally the shortcomings of our caregivers, and we internalize and blame ourselves because, well, it's kind of scary to imagine that the people that we see as large looming figures that are supposed to protect us actually are flawed. So children will often internalize like the negative traits of their parents and blame themselves. And I think we grow up with shame and hating ourselves for that reason. So I think you just have to like really learn where your self-hatred came from and learn how to be. You have to like be in the midst of people who like almost rewire the way that you relate to yourself, because I think the way that you relate to yourself translates to everything. So my introspection has come from 8 years of therapy. Fucked up relationships where I was in the wrong, and then fucked up relationships where the other person was in the wrong. And it's just like,
and unpacking, like doing the work to unpack. I mean, what you said about attachment things, there's like three, I think there's 4 actually attachment styles that you have. There's like securely attached to your parents, insecure, and then there's like another one where you like take different postures, and I don't know. I've learned about it a little bit, but I definitely know what you're talking about with when it comes to relationships. And I just was curious because I do think therapy is so useful, and I wish I had more money to like spend on it, just to have someone and especially to work with someone for 8 years. Same person or different?
Same guy. And I will say to your point about money, because I know that's a huge barrier for a lot of people with therapy. When I got into it, it was obviously my parents paying for it because I was young.
Yeah.
And then I've gotten to a place where this guy understands that I couldn't like afford to pay like whatever. I think he's reduced the rate for me because we've been working together for so long, I think.
Yeah.
But
that's nice.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Cool. But yes, the same guy for 8 years, which I think that's not something you find all the time, because not everybody finds the right person at all.
Do you ever feel like he's not as objective as he could be because he knows you for 8 years? Or do you think he like, because that's like the thing that I always seek, is that I want to find someone who I trust, but just is going to give me objective feedback, and it's not going to be colored by, past trauma that they have. They're like, oh dude, that they're just trying to fuck you over or something. And you're like, dude, really? Like, I didn't think that they were, but I just felt weird about it. And then, you know what I mean? It's like who you confide in is super important. And I think just having that unbiased whatever person that can just help you dialectical conversation, the thing I was talking about before, and just like unpack shit.
Yeah.
I just think that's so valuable.
Yeah, I think it is really valuable too. I think it's unfortunate that there are a lot of therapists that should not be therapists out there, but for just as many bad ones, I think there's a lot of good ones. So,
but so also just one other thing I want to say is that the 8 years is like made you so introspective, and now you can take those tools, and yeah, of course it's good to have someone to talk to still, but like you can take those tools and realize that things aren't immediately because it was you who did it or it was this other person that did it. It was just like a circumstance. You know what I mean? It was just like,
can you run that back? Because I liked it. I was trying to follow you.
Like, it wasn't necessarily anyone's fault, or it was both people's fault. It was just like a weird set of circumstances that happened to be a situation, and we don't need to like hold on to it as being so like lore, like it is the canon. Like high school, like I think a lot of people in high school, I don't know, like I'll still see my friends from high school, and if I saw them and I knew some story about some guy, I don't think I would really judge them for that anymore because it was high school. You know what I mean? Like,
it's an interesting perspective. Yeah.
I just think that because you mentioned that about high school and just like relationships and people doing crazy shit, and like I definitely saw a lot of that and was engaged in some of it, and I don't judge myself for being that person when I was in high school. I was so young, I didn't know what I was doing, you know.
That's good.
But you can learn from it.
No, of course.
Yeah. So I don't know, I guess I'm just trying to say is that being able to take that detachment step and just not react, whatever it is, think about it a little bit and just like, all right, cool, like that happened,
yeah,
whatever. I just think it's important.
Yeah.
Jerry, we got to add that to our list of things. So we got some things that we say on the podcast. We say back your shit up, protect your ears, talk to someone.
That's a good one. Talk to someone you trust.
Yeah.
Sorry, we went down.
No, it's nice to find good
hole.
people. Seriously, I think something that I've really been learning. There's a couple of people in my life that I've come across that, because I think therapy is really helpful. Yes, but like I think there's a part of therapy that you couldn't tell me somebody hasn't said, well, you're paying this guy to be your friend, so you know, like how much does it mean? I think at the end of the day, therapy helps, but like what really helps is finding in real life people that are like really good people. I just find that like being around good people who talk to you in like uplifting ways or are just kind to you and like not negative and judgmental, it can like in and of itself kind of like rewire the way that you relate to yourself, because it's like you kind of are who you are around, you know. I think like, you know, if you're around a bunch of negative people, you're gonna probably feel pretty down.
Oh yeah, I completely agree.
So yeah,
I'm just saying sometimes I even need like outside information from those 5 people that I really trust, and I'm like, yeah, I trust you guys, but also I need like Jerry talking to himself, but talking to himself through like a person who can facilitate that type of deal. I don't know, I haven't done that in a long time. I used to go to therapy and it was super helpful.
yeah,
It was like the prep talk for you know, just how to like deal with certain situations. It was like, all right, it's game time on Friday, and like, how are we going to go into this? How are we going to think about what's our mindset going to be going into this? Like, it's just really helpful to envision what the way you're going to try to act, at least,
and be in that space with like a compassionate ear who like you trust to kind of like go on that journey alongside you, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, I think therapy is just really cool.
No, it is cool. I honestly should go.
It's definitely expensive though. So I guess you can get lucky with insurance too. Like sometimes co-pays aren't too bad.
Oh, yeah.
Like if insurance covers it, and like you could be paying like really low co-pays. It's like pretty doable, I guess. But I guess you have to find the right situation.
You just got to put it into perspective too. Like, you know, how much do you spend on other things, and then how much do you want to invest in yourself on, right? Like, because that's what it's all about. That's what you're doing, is like you're investing in yourself and making yourself into a better person. Yeah.
100%.
Outside of therapy, since you brought that up, can I ask like ways that you guys would say that you do that for yourselves? Do you know what I mean?
Invest in yourself outside of therapy? Yeah.
Invest in well, you brought up like just investing in yourself, like self-care. Like I'm interested to know things that you guys do. things that you guys do.
I just try to push the ball down the court and actually try to think less, because like I'm just inherently an overthinker.
Nice to meet you.
And I just try to push things like, you know, just like the podcast, for example. I'll just try to like let's just keep going, and then we'll analyze where we are and take little helpful hints and stuff. But try not to think about it too much, I guess. That's kind of like, I try to move like a shark. Just kind of fucking like keep pushing water through the gills. Because I think like being stagnant, same thing with like working out. Like working out, I'd need to work out more. But like it's just a good metaphor for pumping, getting things through and out of your system. Like I think that that's an important thing, is to not just let things fester and just to be like, all right, fuck it, we're just gonna keep moving. I don't know if that works for everyone. That's kind of like a workaholic mentality, like kind of just don't think about it, just keep going.
Yeah. Would you say that you guys have like, what would you say if you don't go to therapy? What is your therapy? What would you say serves you in your life in a way where like if you didn't have that thing, you might not be in such a good place like where you are now? What helps you?
I would say for myself, Mace, I don't know if you want to hop in here at any point. I was just going to say like my family, and for different issues, each individual person, probably different issues. And then my girlfriend is like a huge, rock in my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Super helpful.
Yeah. People for sure. I mean, that's definitely top of the list, right?
Yeah.
Back what you asked earlier kind of got me thinking, like, how do you invest in yourself when you're not, man, I've done a lot of thinking, and you could come up with a, million different answers on that, whether it's, working out daily or, taking time to be, practice gratitude. Like there's a lot of answers you could give, but for me, I'm somebody who's very go and all or nothing. So I'm trying to plan out my day where it's like I get exactly 8 hours of sleep. And then when I wake up, I'm like, okay, going right to work, this much time for showering, this much, right? And like trying to like textbook, like you said, overthinker, right? So when you can kind of like investing in yourself is meaning to take a step back at some points and just not try and hustle through everything. There's something that's different. I just got back from 2 weeks in Ireland, and there's something, there was something that was missing when I was out there from my life here. And that's just this constant hustle attitude where we just need to be constantly doing stuff. Yeah. And me too.
So you feel like restless when you're resting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I do.
Accepting that you can't always be productive and you can't always be doing stuff, and, accepting that fact and not holding yourself, to that much of a standard. Standard's the wrong word, but not taking yourself too hard, right? Not being so hard on yourself, giving yourself some slack, forgiving yourself for when you're not working as much as you want to be, and taking time for yourself.
One thing I'd say to just go off that I've been thinking about is just saying no to things that you're just not fully interested in doing.
Boundaries?
Yeah, like instead of just being like, we're just going to hustle and do every single opportunity that comes my way, maybe just getting to a point where like, actually, I just don't want to. I don't care if that's a good opportunity or whatever. I just know in my gut and in my heart that I just don't really care about that. So I'm not going to give it my all, and I'm just going to say no to it.
I heard this great saying that said, when you say no to a lot of things, it makes your yeses more meaningful.
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me.
That's something Tomo was saying.
If you're always a yes person, then,
it's just hard though, because I always play devil's advocate where it's like, oh, dude, who knows? Because there's random things in life where you'll say yes to, didn't think it was anything special, and then all of a sudden, 10 years down the line, it's like that person that you said yes to for that random event. I don't know. Like that's like the fear, anxiety part of me coming out, being like, I don't know, like what if I don't say yes and then I like miss out? Like the fear of missing out,
That's a huge thing in our generation, especially with like social media.
Yeah. But Mace, I mean, I need a vacation is what I'm trying to say too. But like, it sounds like from your vacation, you realize that just putting down that hustle,
dude,
allows you to just focus on the things you actually.
I don't know. I was
care
sitting in a cafe and just like watching people walk by, sipping a coffee and eating a croissant, like straight out of like Anthony Bourdain shit.
Yeah.
You know, smoking a cigarette.
Oh,
no,
shit.
not actually, but like, maybe. But no, like so, something that gets lost on me, man, especially when you're in a new place, is like you kind of just like it's the Ferris Bueller thing. If you don't take a second to stop and smell the flowers, or life goes by in a hurry, if you don't stop to look around once in a while, you could miss it. Like, it's that shit that is never in my head until I'm removed from my current situation. Then I'm like, oh shit, like I really have been like missing out on everything going on, right? You just like, you take a step back and you're like, there are beautiful people walking down the street, and look at this old fucking guy who's probably been here the last 20 years every single day reading his paper. Like, it's just, I don't know, these little moments that you kind of catch that, yeah.
For sure.
Definitely, I agree. You notice things like when you take a step back, it's kind of refreshing, but it's sometimes hard to do because we're like on autopilot. I think a lot, especially if you're grinding all the time.
Yeah.
You're like, you ever just catch yourself like, oh shit, I'm like alive right now. Like, you're just like, I don't know why it sounded like Matthew McConaughey a little bit there. That was not intentional.
Right now. Yeah.
No,
Dude, Matthew McConaughey was on the Lex Friedman podcast. Listened to like 30 minutes. I was like, I can't do this. It's like
his
the
voice?
way no, not his voice, just the way he speaks is like.
it's his real voice. It's not a movie voice. It's like his real, yeah.
He's an interesting guy.
He's interesting for sure, but he speaks in like platitudes. Like, I'm like, what?
Like, does it just feel like forced, like unnatural almost?
I think it's just how he is, and it's kind of cool, but I'm kind of like, what? Like it's deep, but also doesn't. It's shallow in the sense that it doesn't really fully have context. I'm like, he's cool. I think he's cool as fuck. Like, I listened to like 30 minutes of his podcast. I was like, all right, I'm good. Like,
I do enjoy Lex Friedman though. I think he's great.
Cool.
I mean, I don't want to get off on a tangent on podcasts, but I would like to ask you real quick, pretty simple answer. Like, if someone said like, please recommend me a podcast, like I only have time for one, what would you say is like a podcast you guys have like watched / seen that you found was like, holy shit, this is cool? Doesn't matter what it is. Like, I'm just curious.
I'm probably just gonna give a basic ass answer, but I mean, I like Huberman, Andrew Huberman. He does this. He's like a scientist and neurological,
Like the psychedelic
optometrist.
conversation guy.
He's just like a science guy. So he'll go over the subject of, like I did a episode on mushrooms and like what the clinical trials are of it and like what is actually effective. And he just breaks it down. And sometimes it's like way too much information. Like, you really got to be in the mindset where you want to hear him get really specific about these details and trying to like optimize your health and like knowing this knowledge, and it's dense,
like chemical compounds.
Yeah,
and
like
just crazy.
Exactly. Like, it's really, I think he does a good job of laying it out. At first I was like, I don't know if I like this guy, but give him a chance. He's got really good information.
I think psychedelics are really interesting too, but I want to ask you what your podcast was.
Oh, you're good. Is it like one specific episode or just like
Just something you think about, like one of your podcasts, like you've listened to that you were like, damn, that
Dude,
was
Poducer,
fucking
of course.
No, of course, you failed. That was supposed to be the
I
answer.
know, yeah.
Man, I mean, I'm split because I've listened to quite a few now. If you want to get lost in something, I'm going to recommend Case 67, I think is what it's called. Hold on. I'm going to confirm
Case
exactly what it's called.
67.
Case 73? Shit. It's Oscar Isaac and fuck, I'm going to botch this, so I'm going to look this up.
I've never heard of this.
Case 73.
Is it one of those
Hold on.
podcasts where it's like almost like a
Here we go.
audio book?
Yeah, so it's a story. Here we go. Julianne Moore and Oscar Isaac. And essentially Oscar Isaac is from the future. Julianne Moore is a psychiatrist who's trying to determine if he's crazy or not. And it's about 10 episodes, probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Listen to it on a long drive. And it is It is fucking gripping, man. It's so interesting because he's trying to convince her that he's from the future. And he said, and she's like, well, what's going to happen when you convince me? He's like, you're going to like save the world.
Oh shit.
It's like, you're going to carry out this task that like, I need you to do. I can't be the one to do it. You have to do it. And it's really cool. I would recommend that one.
That sounds like something like really unique. Like a lot of stuff hasn't been created like that.
No. And they do a really good job with just kind of the scenery. Like when they're in like a cafe, you can hear people kind of talking around. And if they're in
it's like the theater of the
interview
mind
room,
type of
yeah,
deal. Dude, I love
it's
that.
Really
Yeah.
cool.
Awesome.
You can hear every emotion, like just a slight gasp of like, oh fuck, like yeah. I would recommend that one.
Is it an accompaniment to another form of media, or is this the main?
It's
thing?
This is the main thing.
Okay, cool,
and it's
yeah.
adapted from I think they did it in Portuguese first, so it's a Portuguese story, and they have a couple different seasons, but in the English it's just the one, and yeah, it's really good.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Nice. Yeah. I haven't gotten in like that. That's like a whole nother type of podcast that I haven't found really good ones in. But
Sounds like almost like a fiction novel or something.
It is. No, it's like science fiction, but
Yeah.
they do it all in such a way that it's not like somebody's narrating, just reading an audiobook. It's like they're two characters and you like...
It was like a movie without a video.
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't even know things like that existed. I'd be definitely down to check it out. Definitely sounds like long drive. Like you could get locked in.
That's exactly what it is.
you know what's interesting to me is that podcasts are still called podcasts because it was just like the Kleenex effect. It's like, oh, like we call tissue paper Kleenex because it's like the brand.
Mm-hmm.
But podcast could be, it's just basically recorded audio. You know what I mean? It could be whatever you want it to be. It could be radio. It could be like a book on tape. It could be an interview. But they still haven't gotten away from the Apple aspect that it was for iPods to download them to.
I never even thought about
I didn't put that together either.
Yeah, when they came out, it was like, oh, here's like this radio show and you can download it as a podcast to your iPod so you can listen to it later. Yeah, before we had like 5G and stuff where
Like
you
a
could just stream
broadcast
it.
for your iPod. I
yeah,
never
yeah.
thought about
But
that.
it was downloaded.
a podcast. Damn, that's like realizing at 25 you figured out what AM and PM was. Like, damn, how does that shit work?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. They're not like trying to rebrand it either. Like Spotify's like podcasts. It's not like anyone's even saying like what, I don't know.
That's crazy. Apple's reach, like its influence, like they've literally like that's like so cool to be responsible for like coining a term of a medium.
Yeah,
Just
I know.
wild.
I know, it's cool. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like it's radio. Or at least kind of what we do here is kind of more radio.
You guys ever done things outside of like production, like or producers, like have you ever thought of like a Bobby Lee, like some funny shit? Like have you ever guys done any,
I
like, comedy?
interviewed my friend Trash, who's part of a band called Totally Cash. So it was still a musician, and he was also in the audio.
His name's Trash.
His name's Trevor, but his name's Trash.
Oh, okay.
But like he's real funny. I've been thinking like there's this dude who does like lasers for like laser light shows for concerts and stuff, and like that's cool because it's like adjacent to producers and stuff and people who DJ and whatnot. Like trying to get more people like that who are adjacent to the scene.
No comedy
would be cool for me. But
I
yeah,
listen,
no comedy.
I listen to comedy though.
Yeah,
There's
me too.
some good comedy too. Boys
yeah.
Cast, baby.
What?
Listen to a
Boys
lot of
Cast
Boys Cast I've
with
never-
Ryan Long. Ryan Long was actually just on JRE like a couple.
Ryan Long. Why do I know who that is?
He's a Canadian comedian.
Is he what hair color?
It's like curly, like kind of like light brown hair.
You said Ryan Long.
Yeah, he
comedy
was-
podcasts are the best.
dude.
You're right.
Their podcast is so funny, and it's probably because it's like, you know how South Park was offensive in like the 90s.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
that's like it's like that in the 2023. So
or like Shane Gillis type of
viewer discretion is
Oh,
advised.
yeah,
but
dude, that shit's
Shane Gillis is good. I really like watching like Theo Vaughn and like Bobby
Yeah.
Lee.
me too.
I could even watch those Joe Rogan compilations where he's talking to someone who's funny and they're just dying laughing and shit.
Oh yeah, no.
Just I could like whenever I'm like around my house like cooking or like doing anything, like I usually just put my phone on YouTube and just do like a like
There's the clips, right?
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
like the 10-minute.
There's actually like I actually despise reaction channels for the most part. Like I just think they're kind of annoying, especially someone talking over something. But there are these two black guys who go by Frankenstein's Lab, and they are just stoned out of their mind on their couch watching videos. And I swear I probably watch like 10 of their videos a day. It's like they're watching.
It's like Family Guy clips and
Family Guy, like racist Family Guy.
Seen those, dude.
Bert Kreischer actually, they did a reaction to Bert Kreischer doing like the Russian machine story,
Yeah,
I
the
guess.
machine.
And he saw them laugh. He saw their video and he brought them onto his podcast, and it kind of helped them like get going. But
That's sick.
they watch like a lot of Louis C.K., a lot of Bill Burr, like some of my favorite
Yeah.
comedians, and they're just like they just die laughing. So I don't know. I would definitely, if you like need a good laugh or if you're having a bad day, like those guys will lift your spirits real quick.
Oh yeah. Going back to what you were saying, dude, laughing. Like there was a period of time where I was like, dude, I just need to listen to some people talk about like funny shit or like make me laugh. Like that is healing.
Yes, it is.
Like just not getting sucked into too seriousness of a life.
No.
I think that's important too.
Yes, I think we need to be careful like what we consume. I don't understand how people like watch the news all the time. I think it perpetuates like a lot of
Dude.
negativity.
Oh my God.
Did you guys ever go through a phase where you watched the news?
I listened.
yeah.
I listened to like a good, like what I feel is a good news source, and it's good to hear about. But I remember I have to limit it to like maybe once a week, and I've been listening to it more lately. And I think it's fucking with me because it's like I'm informed, but I'm also just like,
Dude, even just like local news,
depressing,
man.
dude.
Like the Chicago, like if you make the mistake on going like
Oh.
WGN's like Chicago crime
Oh,
news,
yeah,
you're just
no.
like, dude, this world's going to shit, man.
dude,
Like,
the Citizen app. I remember my girlfriend downloaded it. Andy, shout out. Shout out Andy. And it was like 2 blocks away, like car is on fire. And I'm like, dude, what? We can't even go
it's bad,
outside.
man.
Yeah, don't download the app. It's bad. Just be ignorant.
If there's something that's important enough for everybody to know in the news, like you'll probably hear people talk about it. Like,
Yeah.
it's lit. I don't know.
No, just talking about this right now is making me realize. I was listening to the news today and I was just like, there was like another oil spill in Yellowstone, like fucking the coup of Russia. I'm just like, dude, oh my, I can't hear about this.
I'd
It
honestly
makes me
prefer to
depressed.
like read about something because I feel like reading is like going through like if you're this is a good way to put it. If you're like reading something that happened, it's like you're going through Whole Foods and like taking a piece of cheese and you're just trying a sample. But if you're like watching the news, you're like stuffing the block in your mouth and you're like, fuck, I didn't want this.
Yeah.
But I think it's just it's like you have the ability to put maybe we don't have the ability to put the phone down as easily as we think all the time. But I think like if you're reading it, you can kind of just and okay, let's go back to Poducer or whatever or something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's another fear of mine. It's just feeding into the noise. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that.
No, this is good, bro. This is good
Let's-
that you guys give people the opportunity to like do this. This is so chill.
It is chill, dude. This has been a good one in the sense that we've gone down we've gotten to the point in the podcast where we're just having good combo.
Yeah.
It's not really like pointed towards anything. But
No.
I was just going to say we should wrap it up.
Yeah, it's probably what where are we at right now? Can I ask?
We're actually at coming up on 2 hours here soon.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We should. I'd love to listen to a beat real quick.
yeah, we could
Can
do
I-
them rapid fire too
Yeah.
if we
Yeah,
want.
let me just real quick. Let me look at the file I sent you because obviously I sent you 10.
Come in prepared. I appreciate that.
Sure, man. I really like appreciated this opportunity to come on.
Dude,
here.
it's better than what I had, man. Jerry was like, "Yo, do you have any like songs you want to play on the pod?" I'm like, "No, no."
But that was so fitting too. That was before we even did it with video.
Yeah.
I remember I think I tried to record it and something happened.
Yeah, it was like too dark or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, my camera settings were whack.
So I think I'm gonna have to do this. Just play Adult Swim.
Okay, just
fuck
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because so really quick, let me just say there's a drop in here that when I made, and this is, by the way, this is a Kilroy drum pack that I made this with. There's a drop in here that you'll obviously realize when it's coming, but it reminds me of an Adult Swim bump, like, you know how they play like
Oh,
flying?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
look out
love
for it,
those.
because this is probably one of my favorite beats I've made in the past year. Just fucking vibe.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Go to work.
Was that a tag?
Yeah.
Dude, that sample. Oh,
Beautiful
my
sample.
God.
All right, so the bump is right at this drop right here. Yeah, definitely one of my
Yeah,
favorite
dude, that's
beats I've
fucking
made.
sick.
Damn. All right, that's a good way for people to just. You said that these are on SoundCloud, so you can check these out.
So yeah, everything I did for that beat set, that's all SoundCloud stuff that will probably never make it on a project.
For the SP404
the SP404 set.
Yeah, okay.
That you guys just listened to is part of a project that is coming out this summer. It's actually a joint project that Kilroy and I are doing together.
Oh, let's go.
It's a beat tape. So
Cool.
it's actually gonna be my first ever like project release, even before a rap album. So it's gonna be a beat tape with Kilroy and I. So I'm so excited.
Fuck yeah.
Like on the distribution, like through Spotify,
Yes,
yeah, okay.
the whole nine. It's gonna be on all major streaming.
Nice, dude. That's like those are like my favorite beats to listen to when I'm just like outside walking around.
So nice. It's
in the
fun.
sun or
Just
whatever.
shuffle through, let it play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sick.
I will say, not that you asked, but I do have actually a rap. We're not going to listen to it obviously, but I do have a song, and it's going to be my first single, like second single ever, Undergoing Somewhere. It's going to be coming out probably in the next 3 weeks, and it's called Cocktails and Ayahuasca.
Nice.
And it's featuring this guy out of Baltimore. His name is he goes by Humble Elder. So I made the beat and I rap on it, and he's on it too. So yeah, be on the lookout for that because it's so sick.
Are lo-fi people just like wise? Like I feel like that's how like lo-fi people come off. They're just like sages or something. I don't know.
Well, is it a because here's the interesting thing about lo-fi and people that I meet who make lo-fi. Anime is a massive part of lo-fi.
Oh yeah.
What do you like? Okay, so I actually have never been into anime. I don't have a problem with it. I've just never it never hit me. The phase never hit me. I've checked some of it out and I was like, damn, this is cool. But there are some people who are like diehard anime people, and I'm curious. Like anime seems to me like a pretty deep
It goes deep.
art. Like
Yeah.
there's deep concepts.
There's a bunch of different styles that different people are into too.
Right. So I guess I don't know. I don't like know anything about anime. I think it seems like a lot of lo-fi now that you mention it. Like I was asking him earlier, but you've listened to like the like chilled cow lo-fi girl hip hop thing, right?
Yeah.
I feel like if you listen to all those beats, they're all intensely emotional. Like you can get sucked into like a place of just like you feel like the raw emotions through the music. And I think I don't know if all lo-fi people are wise, but I think a lot of lo-fi people are emotionally sensitive.
I think there's a lot of wisdom in anime, just to like go back to what you were saying. I think that there are a lot of lessons and stuff.
So I found something here.
Oh, is that an article?
In 2017, a form of down-tempo music called chill hop or lo-fi hip-hop became popular on YouTube music streamers. One DJ, Ryan Celsius, theorized that they were inspired by nostalgia for commercial bumpers used by Toonami and Adult Swim in the 2000s. And this created a cross-section of people that enjoyed both anime and wavy hip-hop beats.
Okay, I could see that Toonami nostalgia. Yeah, because in the Toonami, when they would have commercials, I think that they would have music, and then it would be like a clip of DBZ, like what happened that week, and it's like Goku yelling or something. So like it almost like was.
What's Toonami, if you don't mind? I don't.
Toonami is like Cartoon Network.
It was, yeah.
How do you Toonami? Like how do you spell
Toon, like TOONAMI, I think.
Okay.
But it was basically like this. You know how like Nickelodeon would be like Nick at Night at one point. It was like that. I don't remember what time of the day it was.
They
at.
played like all kinds of shit, like the old Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon, or like Pokemon, like
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, dude, like all those like deep cuts of like, I don't know, probably more like Japanese like style, like animation and like TV shows that kind of got dubbed for English.
And there was the dude. There was like a narrator who was this dude on a ship. He was like an android, and he'd be like, watch out for whatever, like the next episode of something. And honestly, if we could pull up like a Toonami clip, that would be sick. But I would just to like talk about the anime thing, and also just to not put you in a box. I don't think all you make is lo-fi either.
No.
Like lo-fi is like a specific thing, but I do hear a lot of anime stuff, and like I'm a vanilla anime guy. I like the Ghibli films, like Studio Ghibli films. I like the Samurai Champloo and like Cowboy Bebop. Those are like,
That's one of the only ones I've ever seen is Cowboy Bebop.
yeah, it's super well done. The art style is really cool. Sometimes I'll see videos of this Instagram channel called Retro Sci-Fi Art, and they'll just have like these random animes that I've never seen, and it'll just be like a 5-second GIF of like some crazy shit. I'm like, dude, I want to watch that. I think a lot of it I watch for the art, but there is some deep dialogue, especially if you. I mean, I'm a dub guy. That's going to be controversial. I like watching the stuff that's dubbed to English, so I don't have to think about it. But I know some people are going to be like, what do you mean you don't watch the Japanese subs or like with the English subs? Like, what are you doing?
It depends on what you're watching. I feel like, what was that movie, Parasite? Right?
Yeah.
I heard that one like won a bunch of awards.
Yeah. So like that's or Squid Game even.
Squid Game, yeah. No.
Oh my
Yeah,
god, how
God.
nuts was that? That was fucking insane.
But
Dude.
like they the way that they say stuff, like the English one did not care.
I watched the dub and I was like, this is
No.
bad. And a lot of people were like, you have to rewatch. I was like, dude, I don't even care. I got the bunk version. I don't care. It's fine.
Well, that reminds me of what you were saying. Like, I feel like a lot of people would disagree with this because maybe I'm just lazy, but like, I like really enjoyed watching Narcos, but I really didn't enjoy reading subtitles for like
for sure.
everything. Especially because like sometimes when I watch shows, I'm kind of like in the middle of something. Like I'm doing something, but I'm watching it. I guess that's kind of weird sounding actually now that I say it out loud, but I like to be able to like be mobile when I'm watching a show, and like I don't know, I'm just like what did he say there? It's just kind of like, I don't. Did you guys ever watch Narcos or finish it?
Oh yeah,
I haven't watched
I
it.
haven't finished it, but
It's primarily subtitles.
That's a lot of Spanish.
Yeah. But yeah, with the anime thing, I think it's really cool what you looked up, just like how it kind of like it found this like group of people and who like it, because I know that with Adult Swim, I was never involved in that era as a kid, like, but there are chat rooms like on Reddit people talking about, oh man, like I miss the days, like it's really on YouTube actually that I've seen it in the comments, like there's a deep world of Adult Swim bumps on YouTube that you can find, and they're fucking like Dilla beats and like
Fly Low.
just everything is so sick and it's so good. And people in the comments are telling stories like, "Oh man, it's crazy after this show," and then like all of a sudden this music would come on.
Yeah.
And it helped acclimate like people to a sound that like they wouldn't have found otherwise. And I just think that's such a cool, like, it's so cool what you can do with media.
Like the culture pushed the music and not the other way around, right? Like that's pretty cool.
I feel like Adult Swim was almost in some ways like what came after Toonami, because Adult Swim actually like revived Toonami and they made it part of like the Adult Swim thing, or it was right before
yeah, like you could
Adult
still
Swim.
watch like Samurai Jack, like
like they
late at
brought
night
it
or
back
some shit,
for some of that stuff. Do we have like a Toonami clip? Mace?
Bro, I
Is
was
that
like
a
looking for
possibility?
some, but YouTube's pretty.
In an episode,
We're probably gonna get it. Like it's gonna get copywritten or something.
that's
anyway.
exactly what I was gonna say. I was actually glad that you didn't ask me to play more of the beats I sent, because 5 or 6 of them have acapellas on them.
Oh,
And I'm like, could I even play that,
If
or
they're-
would y'all get copyrighted?
if they're not like registered with like a distribution company, and you can't just like Shazam them real quick, YouTube's probably not gonna pick up on it. And the fact that we're not getting like a lot of views, like we'll be
Yet.
yeah, for
you
sure.
guys are on your way.
But I'm just saying, like, I think, it's mostly if it can get scraped, like immediately. If it can get like Shazammed, then it's like,
You guys would probably get copyrighted if you put a video in there. I'm sure you would.
yeah, like tune. I haven't really.
edit this out. I did find something actually.
I haven't learned. It's okay. We can run it. I don't
Yeah,
even care.
This is like a huge throwback, dude. Like here, I'll just kind of pull this up for you guys real quick. Like, I don't know. I can't really.
We need a better method.
Yeah, we gotta. You know what we gotta do is we gotta get that TV going. But like this shit right here, right? Like that just old school ass cartoons. Like, hold on. Yeah. Like guys in the fucking like
He-Man?
What is
He-Man,
and like in that vein, dude. I might go home and like actually
yeah,
check
binge
this
some
out,
cartoons. Yeah, man. The new Samurai Jack was crazy. That's all I'm gonna say. And also Primal Fire. I like animated things.
I've never delved into that world, and I feel like I'm missing out. I guess I don't know.
It's just it's a different thing. I know some people that are just like, I don't really like animated things, and I'm like, that's fine.
I don't feel that way. I guess it's just anime, because like I've gotten into BoJack Horseman before. I never finished it, but like I really like that.
I'll just say that there's some anime where it's like,
BoJack's not. I'm not saying BoJack's anime.
no, I know.
I just wanted to just clear that. Yeah.
I'm just like great show. I've watched some episodes. I just wanted to put a pin in it that like some anime is like real hardcore. Like I don't understand it. Hardcore in the sense that it's real obscure and just so many episodes potentially, or the concept's so out there that it's almost built on like other anime concepts. You've gone like down, I don't know, I don't even know like a good show to be like that's a deep hardcore anime show. But
oh dude, was my buddy was telling me about this. He said they're on episode like 1300 or
Piece?
something. Yeah, One Piece.
Dude.
Thank you. Yeah.
yes,
There's some real niche diehard fans,
Fucking
I'm sure, in
insane,
that community.
dude.
I actually
Yeah.
I used to deliver pizza in Park Ridge, and they had me go hand out flyers at the anime conventions over at like the Rosemont Convention Center. And I swear, like, it was so interesting to see how big of a community of people. there are.
it's dope. Yeah,
It was. It's like all the people you'd never seen in your life before all coming together. Like it's just interesting. There's like a really big community of people.
yeah, it's cool. I'm halfway in. I'm like my
Foot's in the door.
Yeah, exactly. My feet are wet a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so I gotta ask you my wrap up question.
Yes, go ahead.
We talked about some concerts you went to in the start. Your first concert, but what was like the game changer concert, like show that you went to where you were like, damn, I gotta upgrade, or like I gotta do better. Or whatever you saw and you were
that
just
changed you, or
yeah,
Something that changed because
best concert that you were just like, wow, that was insane.
Mike, this guy I
Mike.
was telling
Oh, yeah,
you
you were
about
telling me
before.
about- yeah,
so
yeah,
he is out of He is. I think he's from Brooklyn, like Bed-Stuy. I know that I think they all live there now and around that area. But Mike got put. I think Mike, like, I think Earl Sweatshirt discovered him. I don't want to give Earl the like props for finding Mike or anything. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know the story, so I can't speak on it. But I know that Earl became friendly with him, and I think he definitely like. They influenced. There was like an influence of sound there, and I went and saw Mike at Sleeping Village here.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah.
And I was like right there, and I drove 3 hours from Champaign to go see
And
him.
I came.
Yes. Oh my
I'm
God!
sorry.
Yeah, bad choice, bad timing.
This is when, like, hopefully my mom's not listening.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep,
We're in the
nope, you're
second
good.
hour. She probably tuned
We're
out.
deep. Yeah.
No, only the real people are listening at this point.
Yeah,
they're
true.
probably laughing. So, but no,
You came downtown.
I came downtown, and no, I went to Sleeping Village and I saw him, and it's kind of weird, but I got there early and I went in the bathroom. I'm just like taking a piss, and this like big dude pops up next to me, like at the urinal, like one of the urinals next to me. And I was just like, taking a piss, whatever. And I just like, I could like see out of the corner of my eye that this guy looked familiar, and it was Mike. It was him. And I was like, I'm not one of those people that like is like super starstruck, but like I definitely was like, oh my God, like that's fucking, because this guy is like, I just think he's one of a kind, and I just think he's so good. And anyway, like I was washing my hands. I was like, yo, I just want to let you know, I love the way you carry yourself. Like, I think it's the coolest thing about you. And he like really appreciated it. And I told him that I came from like a far way to see him. And just his energy during the show, his stage presence, the way that he carries himself, the things he talks about. He a lot of what he talks about, I think, is speaking to the Black experience, which obviously I, as a white person, don't relate to. But on a deeper level, there's just like trauma and being like a person and healing, and a lot of the stuff he talks about I can relate to, and I love what he does. And it was just so cool to see him, the way that he engages with the audience. Not like he doesn't jump in the crowd, it's just like the way his stage presence is immaculate. And I think I kind of like got my stage presence that I currently have now from him. I think I learned it from him, and I just think he's incredible. I really wish we could like listen to one of his tracks, because he's had a huge impact on me.
What's a track that for people to go listen to?
Well, one of the big deal ones that everyone probably knows who does know about him is called Evil Eye. But I would probably say What's Home. Like, it's parts 1 and part 2, but it's just What's Home 1/2. It's insane. Check it out.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even gonna.
Definitely. I have no.
And for anybody that isn't familiar with Sleeping Village, if you're in Chicago, go see somebody there. It is like, it's this tiny little venue in the back of like a bar restaurant, and it's just a bar, but like it's, I don't know, maybe twice the size of this room. The stage is maybe just 3 feet up from the ground. Like, it is the most intimate venue I've probably ever seen somebody at.
Yep.
And yeah, the energy in there would get wild. Like, yeah, you need to be like a really good performer to be able to handle a room like that, because it's probably
A
pretty
room that's
intimidating.
that small.
It's
type of
small,
deal.
and you're right fucking there with everybody, and like dollar PBRs too. At least the one time I went, like, dude, yeah,
It's a good time.
cool.
It's a
That'll
real
help.
good time. So definitely, like, if you're listening to this, give him a listen, because he's just so unique. So,
Bird. Well, dude, I think we hit the finish line, or we're about to.
yeah.
Normally I do shout outs, but I think we've just shouted out people throughout the show. Unless there is anyone that you just specifically would like to shout out.
Yeah, there is. I'd like to shout out like the entire Duck World community. I'd like to shout out Lasers, D-Ski the Illegal, Percy Notes. I'm gonna definitely forget people. Damo, Noxtra, like all these people. Ace Spade. Like, I just met a bunch of nice people recently. I know some of these guys. Just pretty much everybody I've met. If I didn't shout you out, I meant to say your name. And then Shout out my coworker Tammy because she's cool. That's about it.
Shout
though.
out Tammy.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
I'd say like the main way to find me is my Instagram, going_somewhere spelled with a U. And then, as I said, the stuff I did on the 404 set, that's all on my SoundCloud, either my SoundCloud account or actually if you go to who I'm following, there's a Lucas account. It was like my account before I was going somewhere. Most of the music I played today was from that account. And then I've got
on the SP set. Right?
Yeah, the SP set was actually stuff that when I went by Lucas, just by my name, that was kind of where you can find me. But mainly I would just say go to my Instagram and then you can kind of find everything that I've done from there. Be on the lookout for Cocktails at Ayahuasca, the single coming out in a couple weeks or a few weeks, and then look out for the B tape I'm doing with Kilroy, and Prada is eventually coming out December 2. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I think that might have been the longest podcast we've done.
Hopefully it's not a big deal.
No, it's I don't even want to edit it. I like
That's
it.
so
I like
cool.
it the way it's
Even with the dog coming and barking, that was sick.
When I
hope you keep
peed?
that. Oh, dude, yeah, keep it in here.
You think?
No, because it gets real. It's silent. It's like, well, that was weird, or this is weird, and you gotta keep that in there.
Maybe we'll keep it.
That's cool. Well, thank you. I just want to say
Dude,
thank you all.
thank you.
Yeah, this was really
Thanks
nice.
for coming on, man. This
Absolutely.
was a pleasure.
Yeah, this was.
Thanks
a
for
blast.
bringing some incense.
Absolutely.
I know you can't smell it, but
Shout
it
out.
smells good.
I will shout. That's the last shout out. Tricola. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm just doing it. Tricola Lavender Fields. Like, this is real deal.
That's that good shit?
Yep.
How do you know when an incense is good? Like, is there like bad shit to be burning?
Not bad, but have you ever seen like there's like a really generic brand that's like Nag Champa, I think is like the original like one of the most popular
I
flavors.
think I've got a bunch
It's
of
like
their
blue,
stuff. Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Or
but
no?
the sticks them yes, it's
Yeah.
blue. They're just the most common. I think they're like sorry if you like these. I like them, but I think once I've gotten to like explore incense, I think they're kind of like the Walmart of incense. These are more like at least like Reebok.
Okay, because I'll go to Dollar Tree. I'll go to Dollar Tree and see like a pack of incense. I'm like, what chemicals am I burning in this? Like, I don't know. But then again, incense don't seem like they have to be very expensive to make.
No, I would actually like to make my own. I think that would be cool. But I just think like recently aromatherapy, I've really gotten into it.
Oh yeah, you do like the water.
No, aromatherapy, just how
Just in
therapeutic it
general.
is to have
Okay.
a scent. Like if I'm walking around
Yeah.
and I don't have a scent, I feel like there's something missing.
Oh wow, I walk around. I feel like I smell like shit half the time. So like my scent, I literally just smell like BO. Like if you got close to me, I might smell bad.
Oh shit!
You got your feet hanging out and everything, man. Come
Dude,
on
my
now.
feet are
Yeah.
dirty. My feet aren't even clean.
Come on, let's see
Sorry.
that again. Hang on. We one more time. Yeah, there
We
you go.
pan to
There's
the
like,
feet.
they're gross. Actually, I'm sorry. I don't even think about it, but all the guests just get to see my foot, like my toe just coming over this little thing. Anyway, sorry that I subject people to that.
Well, who's your next guest? Lastly,
We don't know yet. That is to be determined. I mean,
We'll see.
we'll see. Yeah, we'll just put it that way.
would you ever do a podcast where someone someone interviews you in your spot and you are actually getting a chance to do an interview?
Yeah, I'd actually. We've been thinking about that.
You should.
It's great.
I need to like release some more music and then we'll do it. Like I've been
Okay.
releasing singles, but maybe if we get to a point where I'm just like, all right, we need to.
That's dope. No, that sounds
Yeah.
cool, bro.
It'd be fun. Mace would probably just do it. It'd be like all the people that.
I'll ask all the prying questions that. Yeah.
What was your coolest experience in life? Just bad.
No, but I'm gonna
questions.
do it. I'm gonna do it the same way you ask. I'm gonna be like, so we have a question that we
That we
ask.
always
We
ask,
always
yeah.
ask the guest, and that is,
Yeah,
yeah.
that is how I do it. You're
Yeah.
right. I didn't even think about that.
Do not change it, dude. That's your calling card, man.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, we appreciate you.
Peace out.
Later.